What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of Sheehans World. Today, I have a couple of guests stepping into the world. It's not going to be interviewed style. We're going to sit down, have a good chat about some Boston sports and some news about Boston sports this week. So I'm happy to have step into the world yet again a couple of returning guests. First of all, AJ Crawford from the Sports Bucket. Welcome back, AJ. And yet again, for like the fourth time, we have Lil Dilly stepping into the world, Dilly Huddleston. So, boys, how you both doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to be here. I think I was on like one of the first like 2 or 3 episodes. I want to say it was like,
Yes.
Way back when, before the like right when the pandemic started. So it's
Yep.
great to be back here. Great to be back here, bro.
Happy to have you back. How about you, Dilly?
Living the dream.
Living the dream. I love to hear that. Well, this is going to be an awesome episode. Going to have some great talk to start. The Kyrie comments that he made this week. We just want to dip into that a little bit. Then we're going to talk about the Celtics and talk about a little bit about Game 2, but most importantly, Game 3. Mookie, you got to quiet down back there, Mookie. Little Dilly's dog back there.
Saw a squirrel or something.
Third topic
way.
we're going to talk about is Julio Jones and his rumors with the Pats and the possibility of him landing there. And then finally, we're going to close it out in discussion with the Boston Bruins and their series coming up with the New York Islanders. So we're going to have some great talk today. But to start, boys, Dilly, AJ, Kyrie Irving came out in his press conference this week and had some comments for his upcoming game and his return for the first time, I think, since fans have been in TD, and his return to TD Garden with fans. So he came out this week and he was asked, what he believes it's going to be like when he returns to the TD Garden. And he basically came out and says he hopes it can stick to strictly basketball and there's no, belligerence or subtle racism at all. And many Celtics fans were really thrown off by this because just a few years ago, Kyrie was talking about how he has never experienced anything like that in the TD Garden and in Boston. So it was a little surprising to people. I think a lot of people were just shocked. And I don't think anyone can really say like Kyrie hasn't experienced this before or he's lying or anything like that. I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I think we should definitely have a discussion about this, though, because it really threw me off. It was out of the blue. He had never mentioned it before. And again, when he was asked about it back in the day, he said he never experienced it before. So, boys, either one of you can start. How do you feel about this? Like, what emotions do you get from this? What do you think about it in general?
Dilly, I'll let you start, buddy. I'll let you start.
Sure. He's a fraud. He's a liar, and he makes shit up as he goes along. I mean, how can we believe anything that comes out of this guy's mouth?
I can't argue. I can't argue with you. It's just it's really tough. It's a tough discussion. AJ, what do you guys say about that?
While I understand the points, just the points that are trying to be raised, the problem is that it's coming from Kyrie Irving's mouth. Had it been from any other player, any other circumstance where it wasn't Kyrie, this kind of the optics of this from the Boston fan perspective would have a little bit more like plausibility. The problem is that Kyrie Irving has had such a tenuous just exodus from Boston, and ever since he's been a Brooklyn Net, he's kind of been just like wanting to create separation from him being in Boston and him now away from Boston.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, he's like everything he says, you have to take with a grain of salt. It's like he literally said he heard no racism or anything like that his entire time that he was in Boston. He's never heard it before. Why are you saying that you're expecting it now?
Yeah. No, and that's the point. Like a lot of people are upset with. Like a few years ago, you said you never experienced it before, right? And a lot of people think he's just coming out and saying this, just to try and avoid, the boos he's going to get, the words that are going to be said. I mean, you hope that fans are obviously going to, try to sway away from anything of that sort. You don't want that at all. You don't want the stuff that's been happening like in New York with Trae Young, where he got spit on by a fan, and Russell Westbrook, where he got popcorn thrown on him by a fan. Those are absolutely ridiculous. And it's really tough to, want to believe Kyrie Irving or want to agree with him in some sort, because, we know the history. He told the fans that he planned on re-signing here the next season.
If you'll have me.
Yeah, if you'll have me. If you'll have me. Everyone wanted to have him. Everyone was accepting him at that point. And then you get to the end of the season and everything that had gone on within the locker room, all the, miscommunication with the team, and going into that playoff series with the Bucks, and he just completely gave up. He had one game where he shot 7 for 22, said he was never going to do it again. And then he shot 8 for 22, or he shot 8 for 22 that first game, and then he shot worse than the next game, and he kind of just gave up on the team. So it's real tough to see where this is all coming from.
This entire situation was kind of just a knee-jerk moment for Kyrie to kind of work on controlling the narrative. Kyrie has been a player that is all about controlling the narrative around his basketball career. He wants that total autonomy where he can live in his own world, pun intended for Sheehan's world, but he wants to be surrounded in his own world. He wants things to go his way or it's the highway. So he says these comments. He has this where it's kind of from the surface level optics. If you boo me, you are racist. And that's what it gives off. Now, the conversations that are being born out of this controversy are a little bit more believable. It's a little bit better. You have Marcus Smart rehashing his past with his experiences in Boston. Bruce Brown, a native of Boston, who actually I played basketball against way back when. Shout out Bruce Brown. You have Bruce Brown kind of giving his comments with his experiences being a resident of Boston and growing up in the city. And you have Tristan Thompson, who said it's good when you're on the team, but when you're an opponent, it's a little bit of a different story. So,
right.
But to say that this is just a Boston thing, this is just something that happens here, is just completely disingenuous to the way that the rest of the country operates. Just this week, we had 3 Utah Jazz fans that were now banned for life for their racist comments towards Ja Morant. You've had other instances of just poor fan behavior, as we've noted, the New York fans spitting on Trae Young and the popcorn bag being thrown at Russell Westbrook, albeit not as serious of an issue as the topic of race, but still issues of fan volatility. So to say that Boston fans are the only racist sports market is just kind of like just rehashing the wheel from what happened 40, 50, 60 years ago. Not that things haven't popped up. You're always going to have instances pop up here and there. Like there's been instances of in baseball with Torrey Hunter and Adam Jones that have been well documented in the past 5 or so years. But just making it seem like Boston is the worst place and that it is a terrible sports city or it has a terrible fan base that will boo you and call you racial epithets to your face is not what Boston sports fans are truly about.
No.
The Celtics are the first team that had a black athlete playing for their team.
And a black coach.
Yeah.
Who were the same guy.
Well, yeah, but irrelevant.
It's really tough. Just like AJ, what you were saying, like everything that you were saying about that, like Boston fans are most known for being passionate, and they're not known for, being racist or anything like that. That's not what they're mostly known for.
In the modern era. In the
modern era, correct. And like again, what you said, it just doesn't only happen in Boston. It happens all over the place. It's incredible. And like that's a shame that it has to happen anywhere. It shouldn't be in sports. It shouldn't be anywhere at all.
Agreed. I think we're all in agreement on that.
Yeah.
And I don't know anyone. I mean, we all have tons of friends. We're all Boston sports fans here. I don't know anyone that is even remotely upset for Kyrie for being born black. We're mad at him for being a dickhead.
Yes, completely. Yeah. Just the lack of professional decorum that he showed and kind of just all around diva attitude is not what has been represented or perpetrated by Boston sports teams. And we don't like that. So we're going to blame, we're mad at him for that. But he doesn't, but he wants to control that narrative.
Imagine if Belichick was his head coach. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
The reason why Boston fans are going to be so tough on Kyrie with booing and, chirping and everything like that is because when you come to Boston, you're expected to win. You're expected to be a championship caliber player. So when you come here and you give a bad vibe and you treat, Celtics fans specifically the way you treated them, they're not going to like you, obviously. What do you expect to happen? Like the way that you have left Cleveland, even the way he left Cleveland, it was the same thing. He didn't want to be behind in LeBron's shadow and he caused a whole ruckus there. And then ever since he left there, he was trying to avoid Cleveland Cavalier fans. So it's like, this is nothing new with Kyrie and, trying to avoid fans, trying to create a narrative that, I'm not saying that doesn't exist at all, but something that is out of the blue, completely out of the blue. Like you're going into this game, you bring that up. Like you bring up, oh, I don't want any racism or subtle racism. Like, bro, where is this coming from? And that's why everyone's so thrown off. It's like, where are you getting this from? Like, why is it just out of the blue you're saying this now? You had all that time to say it, but as soon as you're about to go into game 3 and there's going to be a packed TD Garden, that's what you're bringing up now?
He's trying to divert the attention off himself.
Yes, completely. To go into it when you were asked that question of just like, what do you expect for game 3? What do you expect from the fans? And he leads with the issues of like, oh, it'll be a hostile environment. But then he brings it up secondarily that the quote unquote racist fans will be an issue. He then, when probed a follow-up question, albeit the right follow-up question in that context by Rachel Nichols, he then gives a half-assed response and starts laughing it off. So not only are you kind of forcing a false narrative currently in Boston sports fans, you're also kind of making light of the current climate of the issue that is in our country with racial tension and with racial diversity and stuff like that. It just it brings a lack of seriousness and awareness of the topic. Thank you, Mookie.
Right.
I know.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's fine. We're just getting his words in too. No, but I don't know if you guys noticed this too, but when he said that, if you guys go back to the video, his body language gets a bit tense. When he's saying it, he starts to move his hat. Do you guys believe he was, uncomfortable bringing that up? Like uncomfortable in the sense like he knows he's trying to divert the attention away, or uncomfortable with just saying that stuff in general? I don't think Kyrie's uncomfortable when it comes to, speaking his mind about that stuff. But it was very, I just noticed like his body language changed. Like he got really tense and he's just like, when he started to say he's fixing his hat, he's like, yeah, like, I just don't want the racial stuff to happen. And it's like,
so it was kind of like,
no one said that was going to happen.
It's kind of like when you see LeBron James with a book that he has open like halfway through. Yeah. And someone asks him a question about it. So what's your favorite part? And he's like, oh, I haven't really, got into it yet. But Malcolm X, man, he was a really, really, really smart man. Yeah. But I haven't really got into it yet. But yeah, it was the same energy. You clearly didn't read the book. You're clearly making this up. Like, pitter patter, let's get at her. Next question.
And love his teammates letter, too. Wow. Like Landry Shamet and Blake Griffin both came out. I think they were asked about it as well, and they were saying that they've never had an issue with Boston fans, and they appreciate his own teammates saying this. They appreciate Celtics fans for the energy that they bring to the TD Garden. You hear Perk that starts to talk about it, right? And Perk played there forever. He starts to talk about it and how he never experienced it. And a lot of other players haven't. And again, I don't want to say that Kyrie hasn't experienced this in his life. But, it looks real weird when you're about to go back there for the first time, really, not the preseason when there was no fans there and he was going around with the sage, right? Right? Like
burning sage, man.
All the bad vibes, all the bad energy in there, right? Like, this is the first real time he'll be in the TD Garden since he left. And he knows how the fans are going to be. But to come out and say that's why people are ticked off. Like, no one said that was going to happen. Who said that was going to be the narrative?
Kyrie is not the empathetic character. He is not the character in this storyline that is deserving of sympathy because of what he has done in the past, because of how his career has played out in the comments and the actions that he has done. Look at even the season. He left his team for 2 weeks just to go to his sister's birthday party, albeit I understand family is important. But when you're an NBA athlete,
2 weeks,
millions of dollars,
2 weeks,
2 week absence for a birthday party, and then you come back, because your team actually made a move to get James Harden onto the team, and you all of a sudden come back. Like
he's had more mental health work days this year than the entire healthcare industry all of 2020.
Yeah, no, I was about to bring that up. There's been a lot of games this year he's taken off for just personal time. It's like, what? Like, just personal time. That's all it's been. A lot this season. And like AJ, you bring up that incident that happened at the beginning of the season, and Stephen A. Smith was just saying he should retire. Like, I mean, I couldn't even argue that. His head was not in the right space at that time. He's not making decisions for his team. He's making decisions, for himself. And, it was just all over the place. Like, his head wasn't there. And it's like, where is this guy's head still?
Now that he's in a winning position and it's going to be, all, rainbows and sunshine, unicorns, and cupcakes from here on out, because, the Celtics aren't really a formidable foe at the moment. You're going to go into the next round, and who's their opponent going to be? The Knicks, Hawks series, or lowest seed or high seed, whatever.
I mean, they have a cakewalk, man. The Celtics are hurt, and the Celtics honestly look like shit. And it'd be a whole different series if Jaylen Brown was there, because then you could have Jaylen covering someone, and you don't have Tatum getting knocked around in the face, literally sucker punched in the face. I don't think it was intentional, but still.
Poked in the eye as well. Didn't even get a foul for it. And Tatum, I want to talk about this too now that we're getting into what happened in game 2. That was tough. Tatum's right. He's starting to realize where he is in the league, his placement in the league, and he's starting to realize, he is a young superstar. He's on the borderline of a superstar, right? Basically one of the best young players in the league. And how is it all these superstar guys are getting these calls, but Tatum gets poked in the eye? If something like that happens with another guy, they're stopping the play and they're calling a foul. They're going back to look at it. They didn't do anything like that. And the guy's on the floor like he was out for the rest of the game because of it. And even in front of the ref, I believe it was in game 1, Tatum's face guarding KD. KD takes him, wraps his arm, and kind of tosses him, and then takes his forearm and shoves it into his face. And the ref is looking at that. Now, if that's reversed and Tatum did that to KD, they're looking at that for a possible flagrant. I'm not kidding. A technical foul at least.
Yeah, Tatum's not getting the superstar whistle for sure, but I mean, I guess that comes with time. Honestly, in my opinion, for the Celtics to win tonight, Tatum's going to have to go Michael Jordan circa 86, dropping 63 points. I don't see a way where they can
completely.
And the Bulls lost that game. Jordan's dropped 63 and they lost that game.
Yeah. No, what I've been hearing all week on Boston Sports Radio on my commute to and from work.
You got to quit listening to that. You got to quit listening to that.
I can't even listen to them anymore.
93.7 is okay. 98.5 is like County Central. I hate 98.5. 93.7 is great. 98.5, you do have maybe half of a brain, and you just see Tom Brady and David Ortiz, and that's all you know about Boston sports. Like that's 98.5.
I think Felger and Maz literally hate Boston sports. I don't think they actually cheer for them.
Well, Felger's from Minnesota, so yeah.
But still, like it's like whatever. Go ahead.
Anyways, you kind of want to see just the Celtics show a little heart, a little bit of a gumption, a little bit of balls tonight. You want them to play like, they don't care who they're facing. You don't care, like, lose, but lose with pride. Like everyone knows that you're not in a position to win. Even
we're saying all this, and they're gonna go on and win by 10 tonight. Watch.
Good. I will gladly be the jinx.
That's
it's
fine.
-8.
About that.
It's -8 right now. A lot of people thinking they're going to cover. I think they're going to lose by 20 again.
Yeah, a -8. I mean, the thing that's going for them is that it's a home game, and that's kind of, and fans will be electric. It will be a raucous environment, and hopefully the comments made by Kyrie doesn't kind of dissipate that. I hope if it elevates them to kind of just bring the energy and bring the noise,
right?
Appropriately, of course.
Yes.
But Tatum needs to kind of just have that killer mentality. He needs to start having a game where, in the playoffs, where like when he dunked on LeBron 2 years back, when he was a rookie 3 years ago,
Game 7.
Yeah, when he dunked on LeBron, that was like everyone's moment of realizing we have something here. We have a piece. We have a potential stud in that. That was like the moment.
And you know why he got that opportunity, which is crazy? Because Gordon Hayward's leg was still broken in half, and Kyrie tore his vagina.
Yeah, yes. But like, you need to kind of see that either tonight, game 4, I don't care. You need to see it over these next 2 games in some capacity. Otherwise, it's going to raise a lot of questions for the fan base. It's going to raise a lot. Like, right now, the reports are that Jalen's safe, Tatum is safe. Everyone else is on the table to be moved. Marcus Smart's expiring in 2 years. Everybody else is still young. Veteran players that aren't as polished anymore. You need to see that smash mouth smash mouth basketball out of the gate. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, there's going to be some serious concern moving forward. And that's just all I got for the Celtics in terms of ability right now.
Yep. Well, tonight, going back to game 2, I just wanted to say something real quick about it. I don't want to blame. There's a lot of games where I can say I can blame the refs for the Celtics losses because anyone could see that, in the past. But with game 2, I just want to talk about real quick. I just hope there is more consistency on both sides of the floors tonight with the fouls that are called. I'm not blaming the refs for that last game at all because, to be honest with you, the Celtics aren't expected to win. They're not even expected to be close. So you can't even really say it was the refs. But from the very start of the game, when Marcus Smart got called in like the first minute, I knew it was going to be a tough night for calls. I mean, you're calling stuff on the Celtics that are soft, right? But you go to the other end of the floor, and they're doing the same exact thing. The Nets are playing them the same exact way. They're following them the same exact way, and there's no calls. So I just hope there's a little bit more consistency with tonight because when it comes down to it, the Celtics, they've been in trouble with that. They fall behind. They can't catch up again. And they're not getting the calls that they think they deserve. And I think that too. I think that as well. I think a lot of times their separation happens because they're not getting the right calls. And they're doing everything right. They're doing exactly what the Nets do on the other side of the floor. Like I could see it the other night. Like James Harden drew a foul on some BS, like barely touched. But on the other end of the floor, if that happens, that's not getting called. I'm just hoping, with tonight in game 3, maybe it will be a little bit more even because they're at home. But I hope there's some consistency because that really ticked me off last time. But real quick, not talking about the refs, going into tonight, I was hoping we were going to be able to steal one in Brooklyn, and that was going to be huge for them because that would have brought a little bit of energy at home, and then you would have had, home court advantage. You take one from Brooklyn, you have the next two in the TD. Again, not everyone is expecting to win, but that would have been sick if they were to take the next two and went 3-1. So, I'm hoping they come out, like you said, AJ, they bring a lot of energy, and I hope Tatum, like he's had in some games this year, where it really started with the Minnesota game where they were behind and he started to pick it up the whole game and he backpacked them. And he dropped 50 that game, and he's had a couple other games this year where he's dropped 50 and he was unconscious. So, if they want to win tonight, Tatum's got to come out hot as hell. Kemba's got to come out hot as hell as well. Fournier's got to be able to hit his shots. Nesmith as well. If he brings the energy off the bench, they're going to be good. But, with the Brooklyn Nets, you're not going to be able to stop them on defense. You have to be able to score with them. You have to keep up with them. I said this, before the playoffs started. I said this way back, probably 5 weeks ago. You have to be able to put up at least 130 plus against the Brooklyn Nets if you want to have a legitimate shot of beating them, because you are not beating them on defense.
I don't know if you guys are Barstool Sports listeners, but Pardon My Take did an episode right after the game. They said the formula to beating the Brooklyn Nets is to have somebody say something mean about Kevin Durant on Twitter, so he goes off and gets in a tangent. Bring James Harden to the local strip clubs, let him eat some chicken wings, and then somebody say something kind of confusing to Kyrie Irving, so he goes into his moon water phase.
What does government mean to you?
What does government mean to you? I saw someone tweet out the best way to get in Kyrie's head for tonight's game is when they call his name, when they announce his name or anything, just be silent.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Just no one make a word. He wouldn't know what to do. He might cry. No. He might cry.
Sure.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't know how to react to it at all.
Is ball life or is life ball?
Yeah.
Kyrie, your thoughts?
Are we sure it's not Auntie Drew?
Are we sure the world is round?
Are
we sure the world is not flat?
Okay, we gotta move past this. Let's get it going.
All right, let's move on. We gotta move on anyways. All right, we're gonna talk about. We just talked about the Kyrie comments. We talked about Celtics heading into tonight for Game 3. Let's talk about the big news going on in Boston sports. Julio Jones to the New England Patriots. People coming out saying it's pretty much done. What do you guys think about this?
The people that are saying that are people that are sources. Trust me, bro.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There's some out there. There's some out there that I don't trust. Okay, there's some out there that I don't trust.
I think the Patriots are still probably the favorites. I think from most of what I saw, it's come down to the Patriots and the Titans. And if I'm Julio Jones, and I'm not Julio Jones, I'm back to Little Dilly. Little Dilly thinks Julio Jones is the best pure receiver of our generation. That's post Randy Moss is what I'm saying. So post Randy Moss, I think it's Julio Jones. I really don't think it's close. And he's looking at himself. If he goes to Tennessee, he's going to get maybe 6 targets a game because they run the ball 2 out of every 3 downs. He has A.J. Brown across from over there. He's going to be getting a hell of targets too. Ryan Tannehill is not an elite quarterback. He's very good, don't get me wrong, but he's not an elite quarterback. He's an elite game manager. He's Joe Flacco 2.0, but without the playoff success. Okay? He comes to New England. He can work with Cam and Mac and have a 2 tight end set going that's going to take all the safety help up the middle. You send him on a stream, he's going to get 12 targets a game. He's probably going to average 87 yards, 4 touchdowns. Let's see, 87 yards, 9, 10 touchdowns, easy in your first year? Where are you picking? He has a no-trade clause.
It just makes too much, it is way too much coincidence that it would be one of Bill's most major flaws if he doesn't bite on this trade. You give up very low capital because they already announced he's trading. You don't need to give a first round. You give a second round, maybe throw in a player that you don't need, maybe throw in a
N'Keal Harry. Give him N'Keal Harry. Give him Stidham too. You can have him. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
We have proven that we cannot develop wide receivers. We've proven this.
Yeah. look at the only one right now is Jacoby Myers, and he'll be our second or third option.
Right. Okay, he's not a number one wide receiver on literally any other team in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I love Jacoby. Go Jacoby. NC State product. We love that.
Yes. But the whole thing with Julio, it is the missing link for your offense. You easily have the two of the top 5 tight ends in the league that are versatile on both sides from a blocking and receiving perspective. You have Nelson Aguilar, who, yes, one season of pure success with the Raiders last year, he can be a solid deep threat for you.
He just stretched the field. It's perfect.
Yeah. And then you have Kendrick Bourne as a great kind of just like slot intermediate guy, but also an end zone and a red zone demon, where that's when most of his receptions. So
it's a matchup nightmare. You throw Julio in that mix, it is a matchup nightmare.
Yep. No, I gotta agree.
I'd love to see it happen.
I gotta agree with you guys. I think, now that it's put out there, Shannon Sharp. I don't know if Julio knew he was live. That was kind of weird how Shannon Sharp went about that. Yeah.
That was a punk move by Shannon. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't think you should do that. I saw someone, an agent, come out and say that's why I don't let my clients go on Shannon Sharp's show because of that. So once it came out, I think Atlanta lost their chance of getting something extremely good for him. I think a first round, maybe they could still get, but that's what the difference between, like, Bill can make it work without a first round.
It depends on who's desperate enough. The problem is that Julio's contract, is more than $10 million. There 15. It's 15 for this year, and then
big cap rate, yeah.
15 this year, 11 and a half the next 2 years.
But after June 2nd, it goes down dramatically because you can put it all into a signing bonus.
Well, that's the cap hit. That's the cap hit for Atlanta, not for the Patriots.
But they can trade that away. So that's going to come with the contract if they trade it, or they can work it out. So basically, Atlanta can say, "Hey, I know we don't have a lot of leverage here, but if you throw in like a first, and like let's be honest, if the Patriots get Julio, their first round pick is going to be in the 20s at the best, right? Unless something goes drastically wrong, they said that cool. Throw in this, and we'll eat some of this cap for you. We'll take $10 million of it for the first year.
Exactly.
That's the way that they'll leverage it.
It just like the Shannon Sharp incident. The already formal. There was already rumors of Atlanta being ready to trade him that have already been reported, and then on top of that, it's just like the money makes sense. The draft capital has gone down. It is a softball of a move that is to be made, and it just doesn't make. And we got 4 more days. Tuesday, June 1st. Till this becomes potentially a reality. It just makes too much sense.
I think Bill, with how he's done this offseason, it's clear he is aggressive. It's clear what his intentions are for this upcoming season and for next season, right? He's loading up. He's preparing for Mac Jones. And for this season, he's loading up, preparing for Cam. And I know he still believes in Cam Newton. There is no reason why he would bring back Cam Newton just to bring him back and be like the backup. He's going to start. He sees something with him. And he understands with Cam's mentality and what he brings to the table and what he brings to the locker room especially. I think he's hoping that Cam's going to turn it around this year. Full off season. Apparently his mechanics are getting better. And, the Pats are good with that. They're going to pinpoint his biggest issues, and they're going to really, really work on it. So, even if Cam is starting, right? Even if Cam is starting, I would not be surprised if Bill starts to go or Josh starts to go wild card. And Dilly, we were talking about this at one point. He runs a 2 QB set, right? And you were talking about this with Jimmy Garoppolo. If they had brought in Jimmy Garoppolo, they could have had Cam Newton run some plays, and then you have Jimmy Garoppolo come in.
It's a defensive coordinator's nightmare. It's a defensive nightmare.
Yes.
How do you plan for that? And I'm not talking about, and I don't know if AJ listened to the last episode, but I'm not talking about doing like one series with Cam, no one series with Mac. I'm talking about doing one play with Cam, throw Mac in there for the next two, then throw Cam in there for there. That's going to be a defensive nightmare. How do you substitute for that? You can't organize packages like that. You just can't do it.
And hopefully Mac Jones is able to prove himself very quick. So it gives us that option to do that. I think, again, like what you're saying, that is a matchup nightmare with the guys that we have. Bill Belichick loves his tight ends. He's got Jonnu Smith. He's got Hunter Henry. And like AJ said, on both sides, blocking, receiving, they are a nightmare. You got Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers, I said last season, was a huge bright spot. His footwork is incredible.
One of the few.
Incredible. He is going to be great. This team this year, Nelson Aguilar, he's fast as hell. Like you said, AJ, he had a great season with the Raiders. And if Julio comes to the team, Bill has the defense he wants. He loves to stack up his defense, and he knows he has the defense where, if the offense is playing bad, he can win games with defense. He knows that. So if Julio comes, it's over. It's over.
I'm hoping it happens. I think we're all in agreement. I think it will happen. I think all the Vegas odds took him off. So something's happened. We don't know what it is yet, but something's happened because Vegas took all the Julio prop bets down.
It's because it was just like, it's a perfect storm. It's a match made in heaven with from a situation, and just everything feels right. It's just going to be interesting to see if it actually happens.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, I hope it does happen. I think it's a perfect storm. And again, Belichick, he loves his defense. He's got those guys in there that are aggressive as hell, like Duggar. My gosh, it is going to be a fun season to watch with that defense. They are going to be flying all over the place.
Sidebar, I know we're going to talk about Bruins here in a second. Sidebar, did you see what Micah Parsons put on his Instagram story yesterday or today?
I did not.
So he's wearing number 9, and then the guy next to him in the defense wears 11. And then he put 9/11, look out, it's going to be a terrorist attack.
So, fun fact about Michael Parsons.
Wait.
Also, yeah.
Are you sure that wasn't like a meme someone made?
No, he literally had it on his freaking story.
Is it still up?
Oh, my Lord. My Lord.
So,
you
fun
just
fact.
Can't do that.
Wow. Way to.
Wow. Micah Parsons, talent-wise, incredible, fast as hell. He's a beast. That's not cool. You can't do that.
If true.
If true, because
I just sent you the tweet. I just sent it to you on the thing.
Yeah, real quick.
While we're at a pause here, I'd like to shout out Mookie. I'd like to shout out all the boys back home. I'd like to shout out my mom. How you doing, Mama? I'd like to shout out Alan Roy, the real OG. He's the suit guy. He's not the suit guy anymore. He just got a new job. Congratulations, Alan. Who else listens to this on the reg? All you guys, we love you.
Yeah, I love you too. We all love you. All
right. What do we think?
What? All right. Yeah. Can't do that. Completely out of pocket.
Do that. Like
completely out of pocket.
Have the tiniest bit of self-awareness. Just the tiniest bit of self-awareness.
So the reason that Micah Parsons wasn't a top 10 guy is that there were a lot of character concerns coming out of Penn State.
That's part of it. The other reason is everyone wanted offense. Offense was crazy.
That too.
Yeah.
But the character concerns were part of his draft stock that were brought up into question.
Well, there's the character for you on social media. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm really glad I brought that up because I thought for sure you guys had seen that. That's just terrible.
No, I did not see that. No. That is completely out of pocket. You can't say that shit.
I'm surprised that hasn't been picked. I'm surprised that hasn't been picked up by Major or anything.
Oh, yeah, no, I can't believe that either. I haven't seen that. That's the first time I'm seeing it. Let's move on a little bit though, because we have one more topic to talk about here, and I know Dilly, you have to go at some point, so I want to be able to talk about the Bruins. Micah Parsons, maybe find your brain. Maybe look up some facts next time. Maybe just
grab your neck and give it a real hard pull so your head comes out of your ass.
Maybe filter what you're about to put on social media.
Yeah, I couldn't
figure it out.
Tough look.
Let's talk about the hub of hockey. Let's talk about the bees. Let's talk about the boys. They're buzzing. Boys are buzzing.
Great trade for Taylor Hall.
Oh, we talked about it. I told you I loved it. I loved it.
No, and the great thing about this is, I was talking to someone about this. The great thing about Taylor Hall being able to be on the Bruins is he's not backpacking anymore. He's not carrying a team.
Right.
He is there to score. That's all he's there to do. He's there to score, and that's all he has to focus on, and that's why it was such a great trade.
And the biggest question was, is he going to be able to mesh with Krejci? Krejci is an elite center when he has to. He's a pass-first center. He needs someone good. He has been begging the front office, begging, please give me someone on my wing. Give me somebody. We got to Taylor Hall, and they are like freaking peanut butter and jelly, and it's great. We had the perfect line showing up finally. It was just a whole lot of fun, and now we got the Islanders, and I can just go ahead and say, fuck New York once again. Welcome to the shit show. Who's your daddy?
Yeah, that Taylor Hall trade, it's most likely going to be a rental, but just to get a top six forward at that value, where you can just add into just the whole star power of those first two lines with Marchand, Berge, with Krejci, it's just paying off for them. It's paying dividends, and it's great to see. He was huge in the Capital Series.
He's not even a rental, though. He's not going to be a rental. He's going to stay.
He said he wants to stay. He said he loved it here.
He loves
it here.
Yeah, he's going to stay. There's no doubt.
I wonder what the money will look like for him is. Like, I wonder what the hometown discount he'll take is, because if he can stay for like maybe 2-3 years at 6.5, that would be mint.
Which is key, because like they're going to be like strapped here. They're going to be kind of strapped. Also, I got a hand on the table, hand on me. Tuukka played well. He played well.
Oh no.
Dilly, you have not been a Tuukka fan.
I'm not a Tuukka guy. I think he's washed. I think his best years are behind him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hot seat, Dilly.
Tuukka Rask, you were good.
Very good. Very good. That's
I own it. Tuukka Rask, you were good. Keep it up. I still think we should give old boy a game or two. Maybe let him get a little experience. You know, let Tuukka let those old legs rest.
If you go up 2-0, if you get the home series, yeah, throw him in on the away game.
We talking about Swayman here?
Yeah, Swayman.
Swagman.
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 Swag.
Yeah, be appropriate.
I say it's the swag here.
Oh, I mean, it's great depth, and he could be the next big thing if the Tuukka train ends after this year, right? Tuukka's a free agent.
He's a free agent. Him and Krejci.
Yeah, that's tough to see.
So it could be a nice diamond in the rough that the Bruins have come across. But going against the Islanders, I think this is key, because now they have the home ice advantage. I think on paper, Bruins are much better talent-wise, especially those first two lines. Varlamov has had some inconsistencies this year. Anders Lee definitely being out for the year hurts them on the offensive end for the Islanders, but there's still like a very dark horse team that can surprise you, especially when Varlamov is on, when all of their lines are doing a good job working in between the blue lines. It's going to be tough to see what the Islanders have to offer in this series.
Gotta be on top of Barzal too right away.
Matt Barzal is their main offensive cog right now, and that's somebody that they have to stop immediately to make to make it an easier series. So that's just
What do you guys think is going to happen? I think they go full 7?
No, I think as of right now, 6, but I could also see it going 5 the Bruins' way. But I don't see it being a 7-game series. I think the Bruins just have way too much talent, and credit to the Islanders for creating the upset against a shaky Pittsburgh team.
Mm-hmm.
But this is in the Bruins' favor with home ice, with bigger talent, better goaltending. It's
asterisk on this home ice, and we're going to have full capacity come Saturday. That's huge.
That is massive.
And I don't know if New York is, because the city smells like cat piss. But Politics aside, yes. Yeah, big time, big time series. I got B's in 4. I'm feeling real cocky.
Wow!
All right.
Putting my nuts on the table, as it were. I don't know if I actually believe that or I'm wishing it into existence, but yeah, B's in 4. I think it's going to be a quick one, and then they're going to lose the first game by 2, and I'm going to, have to come back in here and
drink the sorrows. Drink your sorrows away. I think the harder series was last series, and then who knows what will happen if next round plays out. But I think the Capital series was a much harder series for them. I think this is just a better situation for them overall than if
I think the matchups are better. I think the matchups are better in this series. I think the emotions were a lot higher in the last one because we don't like the Capitals, the whole Char situation. That was a big thing.
Tom Wilson.
He's a dick. He's such a dick. And I say that, but people are like, how can you support Brad Marchand but not Tom Wilson? Tom Wilson's a douchebag. Brad Marchand is a pest. Brad Marchand tries to get in your head. He licks people. He doesn't try and take his skate off and try and stab somebody. He's not Happy Gilmore. He's freaking Brad Marchand. What are you?
Yeah. There's a line.
Tom Wilson's just a straight up a dirty player. Like there's a difference between Marchand and Tom Wilson. Right? There is. I'm sorry.
Tom Wilson is the Matt Cook of the 2010s. That's just how it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's taken 2020. Just the last couple of years. Yeah.
No, I think with this series coming up, just real quick to talk about it, the boys are going to be hot. The boys are hot right now. They came off an incredible series. They were buzzing. I mean, and it was a physical battle. Very, very physical battle with the Capitals. I mean, almost after every play, there was a scrum. And going into this series, they're hot. Taylor Hall is hot. We got everyone hot right now, like literally buzzing. So they had to come out in this series, take the first 2, and end it. And if they can win in 5, win in 6, I think the most it takes is 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 5, that's great. You get a little bit more rest, and you move on to the next series.
No overtime.
I think it's going to be awesome. Yeah, no overtime in this one.
No overtime games.
How about a sweet baby boy, Charlie Coyle from Weymouth, Massachusetts, busting out and having a series?
Yep.
Okay, Charlie.
That's what you need. It can't just be the first line. And the first line of Pasternak, Marchand, Bergeron, they got to keep it up. Pasternak.
It's Pasternak.
Figure it out, Sheen.
I'm sorry. Pasternak.
Pasta.
Pasta.
You're saying Pasternak. You're saying like imposter.
All right, I don't care.
Sus.
I don't care. Rhode Island thing.
Sheehans sus.
Sus as hell. Oh man.
Yeah.
This is how you end it. This is how you end it right here.
We end it right here. Boys are hot. This chat was hot. It was an electric factory. Kyrie, maybe don't cry too much. Celtics come out hot. Please take one game. Please don't get swept. Just give me one. Bruins, please just win. And Julio Jones, just please come to New England. Just find your way. I mean,
go Sox.
Yeah, can we talk
about the boys?
Can we talk about the Sox? Go Sox.
Talk about the boys. I mean, oh man,
French Cordero, goodbye.
Smell ya. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Oh, thank you for that 477-foot moon bomb that you just hit into the orbit. They're gonna find that one on Mars. The Red Sox would be in first place in almost any other division, but the AL East is so freaking hot right now.
So hard.
That's just how it's been. I mean, in this entire decade, that's just how it's been.
I don't know if the Rays are ever going to lose again.
Like, real quick, we can end it on this, actually. Like, what do you guys think? Like, how many games do you think the winner of the AL East is going to have to get? Because it's going to be a close race.
They're going to have to break 100, right? I mean...
Yeah, 110.
Have to.
110. First one to 110 determines.
I mean, 110's a big number. The 18 Red Sox only won 108, and that was the best team in like history, and they were significantly better than every other team in the league.
Yeah,
like that's a big number. I don't know about that. It's probably going to be 102, 103.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to be a close race.
I'll come down.
I mean, because they're going to play each other a shit ton, too. So they're going to beat up on each other, too. We have to take that into account.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Red Sox have 30 wins. There's only... Oh, wow. The NL West is tough, too. There's 3 teams in the NL West with 30 wins, too.
Yeah.
You hope that the pitching can maintain. And we're still supposed to get Sale back.
We're adding Chris Sale to that.
Yep.
And we got our sweet baby boy down in AAA right now.
Tanner Houck.
Tanner.
I'm hoping
Tanner
to see him next week. I'm trying to see him next week if he's in the rotation.
I mean, yeah.
Blue Sox game.
Blue Sox.
Roll
and then freaking our farm system's looking freaking nice, dude. Tristan's hitting nukes. Freaking
Duran. Duran's nice. Duran
had
bombs.
Duran had 2 home runs that combined for like 950 feet. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid. That's stupid. That's a metal bat stat.
Yeah. And then Bobby Dahlbeck has kind of come into his own these last 10 games. He's been batting above 300. He's kind of breaking out of that little slump to start the season.
So he was the most unlucky player in baseball. He was hitting balls harder than anyone, so it was right at people every single time.
Yeah.
And it made it look worse because he got up in a lot of clutch situations, like 2 outs, 2 on, that kind of thing. And he would either strike out in that situation, but still have a 2-hit game. It made it look a lot worse than it was. And he's finally getting a little bit luckier with the balls. His balls got lucky. He's got lucky balls.
He's got lucky balls.
Say balls again.
He's got lucky knackers.
All right. Well, we're coming towards the end of the show. We're coming towards the end of the conversation. This is Friday, so the Celtics will be playing at 8:30. It's about 7:15 right now. So this episode will be out tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow the Celtics come out and we all wake up and they have a win. So
Sox have Miami in town.
Right.
That's
and
big.
The Bruins, does that series start tomorrow as well?
Saturday.
Yep, starts tomorrow.
So we will be checking out those games. But as I come to the end of the show, I just want to thank you both so much for hopping on. This was some great conversation. I love doing this, just being able to sit down and, just shoot the shit about Boston sports. Going to start trying to do this a lot more while still doing the interview style. So real quick, Dilly or AJ, one of you guys, you can start with this. Can you just plug where everyone can find you?
So you can follow on Twitter at the Sports Bucket. Sports Bucket is live on Twitch whenever we feel like it to talk all things sports. You can join our Discord, discord.gg/sportsbucket. Hopefully I can start also a new thing as well for it coming up pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Cool. You can always find me on Twitter or Instagram, DHUDS. That's DHUDDS. Lil Dilly on Twitter. Or you can just find me at Sheen's mom's house.
Wow. Why do you have to do that?
A little bit of sauce.
I'm so sorry. I'm just kidding. I love you, Mrs. Sheen.
What the hell? What is this? All right. So real quick before I plug where everyone can find me, shout out DC4L Custom Tees. They've been hooking it up for me. You can find my merch there. I got the Sheehan Jeep tee, got Sheehan stickers, got Sheehan posters now. So pretty much anything you can find there. Shout out 009. He's got my intro beat. Shout out all Boston sports. And shout out the world basically. So yeah, Sheehan's World. So you can find me at Sheehan's World Pod on Instagram, at 401 Sheehan, 401 SHEEHAN on Twitter. And that's that. So thank you everyone so much for stepping into my world. Hope to have you step in next time. And Dilly, you jerk. Never say that again.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's the way to end it. All right, thanks everyone. Peace out. Hope to have you step into the world next time.
Hi, Mookie.